A Hunter in Teyvat, Chapter 64, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. Yanfei waved back to me with a friendly smile, but it was tempered by how it dropped as she looked to Yelan, who had her arms folded across her chest and looked unusually dour. So, Jake. What I want to know is how you knew where the seal for Azhdaha even was. Yelan spoke with a smile that had no humor within it. I just walked over and plopped down between my girls as I folded my hands across my lap while I met Yelan's gaze. The secrets of Teyvat aren't so difficult to find if you know where to look. Plus, that massive tree being mutated by the massive amount of elemental energies Azhdaha was giving off over millennia was literally a sign saying divine stuff buried here. I replied, making Yelan's mouth twitch at the reminder, but the area had few to no humans there. So although Liu knew the tree was a bit of a signboard, they didn't believe it necessary to hide it under a mountain or something. Yanfei coughed out loud to regather our attention and prevent Yelan from trying to pressure me, probably. Anyway, Jake didn't actually do anything wrong in checking to see if Azhdaha was still there or just loitering around the site of his seal, as the place isn't officially restricted or otherwise blocked off. But still, Azhdaha getting free is major bad news. She muttered at the end. Paimon is confused. We helped set Valen straight back in Mondstadt, can't we do the same here by beating some friendship into him? Or is that erosion nonsense Jake talked about really so bad? Paimon asked, and Yanfei's face twisted as she shook her head. Finally, after a moment of silence, Yanfei spoke. Look, I am half Adeptus as the blood of the illuminated beasts runs within my own. My mother was a human merchant with her and my father falling in love through a series of coincidences that pushed her into my father's life. But either way, my father and all the other Adepti that have survived from the Archon War and from the advent of erosion survive by hiding in pocket dimensions untainted by the ethereal laws of Teyvat and thus are untouched by erosion. She explained with the girls nodding in understanding, as that's what I already said. I mean, look at what happened to the Yiksha, immortal warriors who went around slaying the evil remnants of the many gods and immortals that died here in Liu, and what happened to them all. 4 out of the 5 went insane, forgetting themselves, and died in battle. Even Xiao, the final Yiksha member, is haunted by erosion and the evil karma of all the monsters he has slain and is teetering on the edge of losing himself. I tried to go directly to the Jade Chamber to tell Ningguang, but the guards wouldn't let me speak to her, and I had no interest in attacking the guards to get to her, I said to Yelan, who nodded in understanding. And let me guess, they tried to arrest you on sight. At my nod, she huffed, smiling as she shook her head. Yeah, well, news of a Fatui agent being found in the city has already circulated through the city, so things are a bit tense. But either way, here is the Liu Qixing side of payment for dealing with that Geovishap, as well as a small bonus for myself for not making me get out of my napping chair in the Liu prison. She said shamelessly as she dropped a bag of mora on the table separating the 2 couches. Woohoo, mora. Hey, don't hog it all, Jake. Paimon screamed as I plucked the bag and just tossed it into my space bag. I mean, I don't mind splitting the money with Lumen and Eula when we don't have company, but what are you going to spend the money on? More food? No, the real question is where you will keep it, as you don't have a spatial bag. I pointed out to Paimon, who pouted. Jake, don't make Paimon mad or Paimon will Paimon will call you a mean name. Paimon said fiercely as she dramatically pointed at me. Even as Yanfei and Yelan giggled at the sight, I fully focused on the glutton and retorted. Oh, and what grand oratory skills you have, Paimon. What will be your mind-shattering name to tatter my pride and self-worth and bring me down to my knees in defeat? Your emergency food. That's it, Jake. No, your name isn't even Jake anymore. Now your name is, Aha, your name is now Snowflake because you are always complaining and drinking a lot of ice water. Paimon yelled, and I only blankly stared at Paimon. Emergency rations. To-go meal. Snack pack. Take your pick because one of those 3 is going to be your new name. I joked, smiling as Paimon blubbered before throwing her hands in the air. Fine, you win, Jake. Paimon can never seem to win. Paimon groused but was drawn into a hug by Lumen. Alright, Jake, don't bully Paimon too much. You know she can't fight back. Lumen added at the end in a whisper towards me, making me giggle, and then I looked back to Yelan and Yanfei. So, I assume Yelan will be going to speak with Ningguang and Yanfei. I assume you will be going to speak with the Adepti about Azhdaha. I spoke, and the two girls shared a look before shrugging. I mean, I try to stay out of Adepti matters, but it would probably be the best for me to speak with them. As it's probably going to take a while for the news to spread if Yelan just tells Ganyu and she has to spread the news. Anyway, there's another Adepti here in Liyue I can speak to who can probably tell the other Adepti. Yanfei spoke aloud, and I realized she was most likely talking about Madame Ping, the woman that can make the Serenidia pot, the stable portable pocket dimension that can even be stored within another pocket dimension. Yelan stood up stretching while raising her arms, showing off her side boobs before she dropped them as she began to speak. Well, Jake, how about you come with me to talk to Ningguang personally? She most certainly will want a first-hand account of what happened, and with me there, the guards won't give you any issues. She offered, and I nodded. Well, I guess that's fine. You girls can get started on a late lunch or early dinner while I am gone, and we can all eat by the time I get back. Either way, this shouldn't take too long. I said to Lumen in particular, as she was a phenomenal cook and actually enjoyed cooking when she could take the time to do it right.